Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's Gunner Talk. Happy Friday and the weekend eve. Let's look forward to that and try and get away from the football for a few days and people losing the plot. I'm going to just crack straight on with what we've got to talk about from yesterday. First one, paying world-class amounts for non-world-class players. I saw, like most of you probably did yesterday, this world's most expensive 11, and I had a pretty good look at it. And I don't think most of those players in it justified the amounts that were paid. The first thing that slapped me straight in the face that I couldn't avoid was Barca paid the same nearly for Coutinho as PSG did for Mbappe, which is mind-blowing for me. One's definitely on the way, if not already world-class, on the way to being world-class, and the other one will never be world-class in my opinion. Anyone with two eyes, even just one eye, even just with one working ear could hear commentary on Mbappe and realise this guy's got a huge future against him and way more value in his valuation than Coutinho's got in his. And I thought there was only 3 world-class players in that 11. The front three, Mbappe, Neymar and Ronaldo. I thought all those prices were fair in today's market. One other one, maybe, possibly world-class, Pogba. A lot of you guys know my opinion. I think he's one of the most dynamic centre-mids there is going. We've not seen it at United, but you got glimpses of it in the World Cup, and I definitely saw that at Juve. And if he finds it at United, as much as I hate them, they've got one of the best midfielders going for me, box to box. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting one, to be honest, and I didn't think many of the prices in there for what was paid for me should get you one of the best in those positions, and I don't think a lot of them were. So I thought that was very interesting. Decent signings, but world-class money. For me, if you're paying these sort of figures, you should get someone that's proven over time, or they're very young and sort of proven, and they hold a lot of potential future value in selling them on again. So I don't think, as I've always told you guys, I don't think paying a large amount of money always guarantees you get the best players, and I think yesterday was proof of that, to be honest. And I think if you're going to spend big, you've got to spend big on the right people, not just anyone for a big amount. And I think you look at the signings we've made. If you added 30 or 40 million to the prices we paid, would you think we got good value? No, you wouldn't. And I definitely think that's the case with a lot of these signings that are happening at the moment. They might be good, but they're not world class, and people are paying world class money for them. So I think there's a big void in there for me. Another thing that I think about spending big money is, what does that say about your backroom staff? For me, at Liverpool at the moment, and I don't want to seem like I'm hateful, because I don't really care what their business is, it's got nothing to do with our project, but their backroom strikes me as they've got a 15-year-old playing FIFA somewhere that's got the FIFA 19 demo, and he's saying, right, this is my ultimate team, go out and buy it, it should be good on paper. Whereas I look at what's going on at our backroom staff, what is the point in having people like Sven and so on if you're not going to utilise what we've brought them in for? The whole point of having these backroom changes is that we seek out value rather than just paying what's clearly in front of your eyes, and the players that are under your nose, and proving that you're good at your job. I don't think anyone at Liverpool at the moment is proving that, and they're setting themselves up for a fall, in my opinion. Because they've moved now, they've gone from that bracket where you can get away with being poor from time to time because no one really expects you to set the world alight. I know for a lot of Liverpool fans now, they are expecting to set the world alight. They're putting themselves now in that bracket of you're trying to buy the league. Like I said yesterday, it goes against Klopp's principles, from his own words, not mine. And now he's going to have to prove that he's as good as they all think he is. The jury's still out for me. I think if he was that good, he'd be doing it without having to go daft, and the money that they're spending on players doesn't equate to the getting the best players, like Alisson yesterday. 70 million for him. 70 million. 70. Somebody said to me yesterday, well, they wanted 90 and we got him for 70. Well done. Whoever's done that one, give him a pay rise. Fucking idiots. And for me, spending that sort of money, you should be getting the best player. They've signed the world's most expensive goalkeeper. Have they got the world's best goalkeeper? No, not by a long shot for me. I don't even. Maybe he's top 10 in the world, but he's not in the top 5. And if he's worth 70, now it goes, well, what's everyone else worth? if he's worth 70, in my opinion, De Gea's worth 300 then going off that, because he's at least 4 times the goalkeeper, and he's proven season after season in a league that for a lot of people is the strongest in the world. So I think it's a bit of madness from them, to be honest. I'm not denying they might have got a good player, but they've paid for a world class one, and I'm not sure they've got that. In fact, I'm very sure they haven't got that. Look at the facts of this guy. They paid €7 million for him. He was benched and number 2 to Szczesny, and he only became number 1 because Szczesny left. If Szczesny had stayed, he'd still be number 2 and maybe worth 20 to 30 million euros, not pounds sterling. So I think this is a big reach by Liverpool. And this guy's going to have to. There's a lot of pressure on him now, which is he's not going to help him. He might thrive under it, but a lot don't. And like I say, this is a thing for Liverpool now. They're spending world class money in, VVD, world's most expensive centre back, who I don't think's the world's best centre back. And like I say, now they've put themselves in that bracket where there's no more excuses anymore, and there's no more hiding places. Same as why I give credit to Pep and so on, because they go out and spend the money and then prove that they've done it, and they're actually doing a good job as a coach as well. I think it puts a lot of pressure on Liverpool this now, and it could completely backfire. I wouldn't be shocked if I think they have assembled a first 11, not a squad, the first 11 that could definitely be up there near the top of the table, but I'd still have them behind United and City for me at the moment, and still a long way behind City. They've got a more impressive squad, and they're winners now. They know what it takes. Liverpool don't, and this backs up to a few comments yesterday. People downbeat on our business and stuff, but somebody said yesterday, Liverpool, I mocked Alisson's comments about Liverpool, and they know what it takes to win. Well, no, they don't. None of that squad do, because it was 10 years ago when they won something relevant. And you can poo-poo the FA Cup all you like on our achievements, but that's still winning something, and that gives you a mentality that none of the Liverpool squad have. So I think we still hold a big advantage on that front as well. I think that's really interesting. Another one that I saw yesterday, I don't know if the guy was a Liverpool fan or just a journalist, but he said Liverpool now have in Gervinho Mark II on one side, the Emily Sandé tribute act down the middle, Salah, who was world class last year, but he's not proven world class yet for me. He's very good, but he's not world class yet because he's only done it for 1 year, and I think he's a bit of a pussy too, to be honest. He bitched out the Champions League final for me with a lot of people said he had a dislocated shoulder. He didn't. He had a bruised/strained shoulder. I've dislocated my shoulder on holiday in Ibiza and carried on throwing shapes for 2 months. And I'm sure if I'd have been in a Champions League final in that situation instead of on holiday in Ibiza, I'd have played on with a dislocated shoulder, never mind a strained one. So I don't give him that much credit yet. And Keita they threw in there. Okay, pal. That's the best front four in Europe, apparently. Not in my opinion. It's not even the best four in the Premier League. And I think it's the 4th best front four in the Premier League. Another reason for us to be cheerful. You look at our front four, Ozil, and it might be Mkhitaryan, Laka, Aubameyang. Laka and Aubameyang are proven absolute gunmen. They haven't just done it for 1 season, they've done it every season they've been playing, racking goals for fun. So we're well ahead on that front. Mesut, him and Keita, I know they don't play in the same position, but I'm not even going to start on that one because that's just laughable. The one position they probably are better is Salah's probably better than Mkhitaryan, but he's got to prove it year on year. And I look at other teams from an objective point of view. United, any of these 4, if you want to put them together, Rashford, Martial, Sanchez, Lukaku, Pogba, would have swapped those 4 of those for Liverpool's front 4? Nope. City, any of these 4, Sane, both Silvers, Sterling, KDB, Jesus, Aguero, wouldn't swap any of those 4 for Liverpool's either. So I think they've got an edge on Chelsea and Spurs front 4, but they haven't on those 3 teams I've mentioned, and that's looking at it objectively. I'd say that if I wasn't an Arsenal fan. I thought those comments were absolutely hilarious, and I giggled for 10 minutes, to be totally honest. I was going to chuckle to myself then for a minute, but I won't be rude. Another one somebody had a pop at me yesterday about was you lot can't afford anything, Tin Pot Club. Let's look at the facts of that, shall we? Our club is worth more than yours. That's just a solid factoid. Our Richards were way more owner than your Richer. That's a factoid. And if we're going to start digging people out, well, West Brom's owner is richer than Liverpool owners. So before you swing the bat and bring a dessert spoon to a gunfight. Go and check your facts before you start trying to banter people off, because you're just looking muggy in my point of view. And then the next one that got fired at me was, well, enjoy the Europa League. What, the Europa League you were in for 4 seasons, you mean? Mate, we've been in the Champions League nearly every season it's been going, for longer than most of you guys that are popping shots off have been alive, so don't start with that one. For me at the moment, being in the Europa League is a positive for me. In our project at the moment, we've got a lot of young lads that we need to blood into the first team. We wouldn't be able to do that in the Champions League, which we are going to be able to do in the Europa. If we were in the Champions League, these lads would be limited to, League Cup, Carabao Cup stuff, and maybe the odd FA Cup appearance, whereas in the Europa League we can give these lads way more game time rather than have to farm them out somewhere else to help them improve. So in our project at the minute, I think the fact we're in Europa League is a big bonus rather than the Champions League, and I don't think the money is that much of a big difference. I think what we're getting in being in the Europa is way more of an advantage than just financially. I know a lot of you are going to laugh at that, and what's this guy and his cornflakes? Has he put whiz on them instead of sugar? I haven't, guys. That's my opinion on the position we're in at the minute going forward. I think it suits us better. And I think another one is, be grateful for what's going on at our club at the minute. Look at last season to compare to this season, and be grateful for the huge changes that have gone on, rather than looking at everyone else's situation. Last season was dreadful, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion. Wenger was finished, the squad weren't playing for him, blah de blah. Like I say, it's one of the worst seasons I've ever remember as an Arsenal fan. Just the atmosphere was toxic all last year. We still finished 6th, and we weren't a million miles off the top 4. Some of you saying we're still not capable of top 4. Why not? Just look at the basics from last year, proven facts. We were second only to City, home record. The Emirates was back as a fortress last year for me. First time I feel like it was, or has been, a fortress. We only lost 2 games at home last year. That put us only 3 points behind City at home, and away we were absolutely abysmal. We couldn't buy a win away from home after Christmas, getting walloped left, right and centre by absolute nothing sides that just wanted it more. And if we just do the bare minimum and add 3 or 4 away wins to last season, we're already in the top 4, and that's where, without factoring in Unai, the backroom changes, the player personnel changes on the pitch. So I think there's loads of reasons to be cheerful, and I think a lot of you are just looking at something that doesn't directly affect you and getting egged out by it. So I think that's a little bit embarrassing, and I think we don't have to do a whole lot to get back in the top 4, and I think we're going to do way more than that with Unai in and the other lads' backroom. And I think that's another one. This guy's a winner, whereas some of these other managers we're seeing coming in don't know what lifting silverware is, apart from eating the teas and using the cutlery. So I think we've got a lot more positives than we have negatives at the moment in comparison to other clubs that I think we're directly competing with. So that's that on that front. Other comments from yesterday, Bobby Perez coming out talking again. I wish this guy just shut up. He's a legend in my opinion. He's not one of my favourite Arsenal players, but I know he is for a lot of you. His comments yesterday I thought were very interesting about Unai's our best signing. Well, for me that means that he thinks Arsene Wenger was our biggest problem last year. And I don't think he'd have said that if Arsene was in charge, because it'd mean he'd have to go and get a David Lloyd membership like the rest of us. And for me, this is why I put this guy behind other people. Like, people are very quick to shoot from the hip and badmouth the likes of Wrighty, Thierry, who are in the public eye punditry wise. At least they've got the bollocks to say it while the guy's in the job without being completely disrespectful. I think this comment is way more disrespectful because he's doing it behind his back, because he wouldn't have said it while Wenger was there and he was trying to get a job at the club. And this is another reason why I don't want to see this guy anywhere near the club. I think he was a great player. I don't know if he's any good as a coach. I just think he wanted to keep fit and knock around the club that he likes, which I'd want to do if I had a few quid. If I was a millionaire, billionaire, I'd want to be down at Arsenal doing a bit of training and enjoying myself. Like I say, this is why I don't want to see guys like this at the club, because they're just the yes men. They'll say anything that they think might sound good. Laymen, I feel the same. They're like Churchill dogs. Oh yes. You just nod and agree with absolutely no spine. So as much as I loved him, I think he's a bit of a whopper for those comments yesterday, and I think he showed himself up a little bit for what sort of bloke he is. Not saying he's a bad bloke, but I thought they were really derogatory comments, to be honest, and not ones he'd stick by if confronted on them. So that's that out of the way. Another one yesterday, Joel Lopez, he's officially signed. I told you guys about a month ago that this was a done deal. We had to wait for him to get to an age where the signing can be done as a professional contract. So that's a nice one, and a nice little boost to get one over on Barca for a change, rather than it being the other way around. So yeah, look forward to that. See what we can do with him over the next 5 years, and see if we can improve him. Don't know much of him as a player, to be honest, as I'm sure most don't. Other comments yesterday, Welbs to Everton, I thought was an interesting rumour. I think that'd be a very good fit. Very, very good fit. I think if we could get 10 or 20 million for him with 1 year left on his contract, and Everton can pick him up for that, I think it's a win-win all round. I don't think he's a terrible player. I just think he's a terrible player for us. I don't think he adds much. I don't think he brings much in the way of a squad player or whatever. He comes across as a nice guy, but we can't keep having nice guys in the squad that offer us nothing on the pitch. And this guy, for me, keeps us average and doesn't help us progress. So I'd like to see that happen. I think, reuniting him with Theo, I think he could do bits there, to be honest. He just won't set the world alight, and he won't set the world alight at our place. Sir Alex had him, Arsene had him, and he hasn't improved. If anything, he's maybe gone a bit backwards or just completely stagnated. So I'd happily see him gone. I don't think Unai will do any more with him either, and hopefully he gets shipped out. Socrates' comments yesterday on Mavro I thought were very interesting. Really rating him, helping him to settle in, helping both to, being Greek compatriots, helping each other to settle in a way. And he sees him having a big future, which aligns with my thoughts and opinions. I think he's got a big future. I don't think he's ready yet, but another season, 2 seasons down the line, I definitely think he'll be competing for a first team spot, and I hope he gets plenty of chances this year. And it made me think as well about our signings. Socrates was one I wasn't blown away by, as most weren't, but these guys have other value as well as just playing value. A lot like Lichtsteiner, who brings a winning mentality and a hell of a lot of experience that, like I say, in our project at the moment, along the same lines as the Europa League stuff, helps our young guys that we're going to have to rely on over the next 2 to 5 years. When the likes of Aubameyang are done, Mkhitaryan are done, Ozil's done, we've only got 2 or 3 years left in all these guys. So I think this is another big positive for us, to be honest, and they bring way more value than just the playing value. So, like I say, I think there's plenty of reasons to be really happy at the minute, and don't get negged out by what everyone else is doing, because it doesn't change what's going on with our project at the moment. Another one yesterday, I mentioned about Coleman and the articles I'd read, and I think we can close the door on this one happening. A lot of you lost the plot yesterday because apparently he liked a post on Instagram. He liked a post that said Dembele or him to Arsenal, and a lot of you read that. It was, well, he's coming to Arsenal. How do you know he's not just a big Dembele fan and he wants to see him in the red and white of Arsenal? You're reading way too much into it, and people poo-pooed my point on the interview with him, saying, it was for Sports Bild, who were the German Daily Star / Sun Mirror, whatever, and a crappy tabloid. They might be, but the thing for me is you can't completely fabricate an interview. You might be able to fabricate and change certain words in it, but you can't fabricate the complete content of the article. It had to have some truth in it, and I think it did, as hard as it was to hear. But I'm not fixated on one player coming in the door at the moment. I think there's loads of good young wingers out there that we can go for. So if one option drops out, I think another one just drops in again. And I think a lot of you need to look at it the same way. There's plenty of young wingers we can go at the moment. I think that's pretty much it from me today, guys. I hope you have a lovely Friday. Hope you have a lovely weekend. And come on, you Gooners. Take it easy, guys.